Global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello, good people. Welcome back to Global Happenings. Today, Nigeria is still mourning the aftermath of the Kaduna train attack, which has left many families mourning. Now, topmost in the list was actually the case of when the death of Dr. Mefafu Wando Chinelu was announced. Actually, she boarded the attack Kaduna bound train with other hundreds of other passengers, and her plan was to travel out of the country by the end of this week, that's precisely on Friday. And unfortunately, she lost her life. It's really, really heartbreaking, and Nigerians have reacted so much to this. And there are other stories which we are going to relate to you. Now, one of the things that Nigerians are saying is that these people are actually victims of bad governance. Yes, they are victims of bad governance because this issue of insecurity has been pending for too long. Now it happened some few days ago also. I think the Kaduna airport attack, where Nigerians woke up to see miscreants, bandits roaming around and doing their own thing in the airport. Unfortunately, I think that led to the loss of one life and all of that. If that particular case was taken overly serious, maybe this one would not have happened as it did happen. Now, the second person in the list that we also heard was affected was the ex-Zamfara deputy governor, who was also part of the train. Now, according to the info that we have, the man actually was taken into custody by these bandits. After they started shooting radically, they had to live with some person. Unfortunately, the ex-Zamfara state deputy governor was part of the people who were kidnapped. Then DSAs and other security agents, military, jumped into action. And according to his aide, he said that he was initially abducted but was rescued by the DSAs and military. It was during the process he sustained gunshot injury in the leg. He is very okay now. He is receiving treatment at the hospital in Kaduna State. And because of what has just happened, the federal government, not the federal government, but Senate this time around, has made some demands on the um, army and other security architecture in the country to jump into action to correct the narrative, because this is not good enough, for Nigerians, and it's a pointer to the fact that we are not doing well in terms of security. The Senate, they've called on the army and air force to, as a matter of urgency, bombard all the enclave of all the bandits. And the question is, why now? Must we always wait until it gets out of hand, until we hear our story everywhere? That is when we will now wake up. For a country like Nigeria, with the number of insecurity issues that we have, I think the military should always be at alert. If nothing would have even triggered them to be active, was when we woke up to the news that they actually invaded the Kaduna airport. That one was a starting point that would have triggered the interest of the security architecture, but it didn't happen that way. Yes, military gave the news that actually they went after them and they were able to bring down about 12 of them. But there's a level of offensive attack that you are going to give to people like that, and the only thing they will do is to be running for their dear life. Because I cannot imagine that these guys came into the city and have the privilege of entering into Kaduna Airport. Now it is now the issue of the train, and before this train issue even came up, there was an info by there was a recurring case like this, but it was always, they were always making use of making use of cattle, heads of cattle, according to Senator Shehu Sani. He said that many times the bandit try to use their heads of cattle to stop the train, but they are usually crushed, and then they resort to use of explosive. Now, when they were using this head of cattle to disrupt, why didn't the military and other security architecture in the country put a or kind of surveillance in that environment. Why didn't it happen that time? Because for me, prevention is always better than cure. Every time we have to wait until this kind of news come out, and then Nigerians start to, that's when you hear Senate will start talking, that's when you hear everybody will begin to scream, and the presidency will talk, and the governor will talk. They have all paid visit to that place, but would that bring back the lives of those guys? Of course no. We must not wait until these things keep happening and families are shedding tears and all of that. I'm just imagining, the case of that beautiful soul that just left the shores of this world. I mean, even if some people will say that family thing, why must it be her and all of that? It makes no sense. If we have done what we are supposed to do, it would never had happened. It would never had happened. Now, there's another case of someone coming out to say that one Muhammad Hamid Mahmoud, who is a contestant for APC Northwest Youth Leader, that the guy was taken out by the bandits. Immediately, the guy came out and said, "It's a lie, yo. I am alive, strong, and healthy. Nothing happened to me." Fortunately, a lot of people were brought down. So many were injured, and so many also were taken into captivity. The train was the attack for me was preventable, and the lessons weren't learned from the other tragedy. That's what I'm always been saying. When it happens like that, airport happened, we play around it. The railway own that also happened, I think, in October. Nigerians played with it. We didn't take it serious. After all, it doesn't affect our family, so nobody took it serious. Now it is happening again. I don't know the measures that will be put on ground to see how these things will not repeat itself. The trains, for me, were not equipped with the required sensors that can detect those things, because in international community or in other countries of the world, if this kind of issues keep happening, I feel that there should have been a sensor that would have been input in that train, such that as it's moving, it can detect, any form of explosive afar off, and then cautions will be taken. But unfortunately, these things were not done. I am hopeful that with what has just happened, that the federal government will wake up, and we are praying that for those families who unfortunately lost their loved one during this attack, I pray that God will console them. That's what we would like to leave. Go to our comment section. Let's interact.